In the beginning, before the shaping of stars and the forging of worlds, there was nothing but an endless expanse of darkness and silence. This was the void, an infinite realm where the laws of creation held no sway, an abyss teeming with an insatiable hunger. It existed beyond the comprehension of even the most ancient beings, a dimension of chaos and entropy, where shadows whispered the secrets of unformed realities. It was here, in this formless night, that the Void Lords emerged, entities of immeasurable power and malice, born from the darkness itself. The Void Lords are ethereal beings, unfathomable in their true form, yet potent enough to cast their influence across the cosmos. They are the architects of despair, capable of bending the very fabric of existence to their will. These shadowy titans sought to spread their dominion over all creation, their ambitions driven by an unquenchable desire to consume and corrupt. To the Void Lords, the universe was a canvas to be painted with chaos, an endless battleground where they could wage their eternal war against the light. Yet even as these dark gods plotted from the edges of reality, they found themselves thwarted by the very nature of their essence. Incapable of fully manifesting in the physical realm, they remained bound to the shadows, their influence indirect, yet profoundly insidious. In their frustration, the Void Lords turned their eyes toward the nascent worlds that dotted the cosmic tapestry, seeking a vessel through which they might channel their destructive fury. It was in this quest that they first learned of the nascent titans, the slumbering world souls scattered throughout the great dark beyond. The titans, beings of immense potential, lay dormant within the hearts of worlds, waiting to awaken and shape the universe according to their grand designs. To the Void Lords, these world souls represented both a threat and an opportunity. If corrupted, a titan could become a dark god, a creature of unparalleled power that could tip the balance of reality in favor of the void. Thus began the Void Lord's ceaseless search for a way to corrupt these nascent deities, a quest that would set the stage for cosmic conflict and horror beyond imagining. And so, amidst the shadows of creation, the seeds of an eternal struggle were sown, a struggle that would reverberate throughout the cosmos, touching every corner of existence. The Void Lords, ethereal entities of unfathomable darkness, were driven by an insatiable hunger to consume and reshape reality itself. Their gaze pierced the veil of the physical realms, their whispers echoing through the fabric of the universe, seeking to influence and corrupt. They were beings of pure entropy, thriving in chaos, with ambitions stretching beyond the comprehension of mere mortals or even the gods themselves. In their quest, the Void Lords summoned forth minions from the abyss, beings crafted from shadow and malice. These creatures, known as the Void Walkers, were tasked with finding and corrupting the world souls hidden within the nascent worlds scattered across the great dark beyond. In their wake, they left nothing but devastation and despair, sowing the seeds of madness in the hearts of those who dared to resist. But the Void Lords were not alone in their ambitions. Their actions drew the attention of other cosmic forces, setting the stage for a war that would span millennia. The Titans, ageless beings of order and creation, stood as their polar opposites, the defenders of light and life. These colossal entities roamed the stars, nurturing worlds and safeguarding the fledgling souls within. To the Titans, the Void Lords represented an existential threat, a darkness that sought to unravel all they had built. The clash between these primal forces would not only shape the nascent cosmos, but also influence the destiny of countless worlds, including the distant yet pivotal planet known as Azeroth. As the Void Lords pursued their dark designs, they inadvertently created ripples in the fabric of reality, drawing other entities into their web of intrigue. Among these were the old gods, monstrous beings that would become instruments of the void, their influence spreading like a cancer across the worlds they touched. Thus, the stage was set for an epic confrontation, a cosmic ballet of light and shadow, creation and destruction. The Void Lord's insidious influence would be felt across the ages. their machinations leaving an indelible mark on the history of the universe. In their relentless pursuit of power, they would challenge the very essence of existence, setting the cosmos on a path of conflict and transformation. From the depths of the abyss, their whispers would continue to echo, a haunting reminder of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. As we delve deeper into this saga, we shall uncover the myriad ways in which the Void Lord's dark ambitions shape the fate of all creation in the unfathomable depths of the cosmos. Beyond the boundaries of what is known and illuminated by the light, there exists a place shrouded in eternal shadow and mystery. This is the Void, a realm of endless dark potential, where the essence of the Void Lords took shape. These entities, birthed not from creation, but from the very absence of it, emerged as figures of terrifying ambition and profound malevolence. With the birth of the cosmos, they found themselves driven by a singular purpose, to twist and reshape reality to their own ends. The Void Lords, unfathomably ancient and vast, were formed from the very fabric of nothingness. Their existence was both an anomaly and a testament to the limitless possibilities of the universe. As these dark entities became more aware of their surroundings, they began to perceive the nascent potential of the cosmos. In their eyes, the ordered worlds and burgeoning life forms were aberrations that needed to be consumed, remade in the image of the Void's infinite darkness. Yet despite their immense power, the Void Lords were confined to their own realm, unable to manifest directly in the physical universe. This limitation did not deter them, but instead fueled their cunning and malevolent ingenuity. They sought to extend their influence across the cosmos through agents and intermediaries, whispering into the void between stars and galaxies. Their voices, filled with promises of power and forbidden knowledge, echoed through the tapestry of creation, seeking those who would heed their call. In their quest to reshape the universe, the Void Lords turned their attention to the primordial worlds, where slumbered the seeds of what would become some of the most potent forces of order and creation. Among these worlds, none held more potential than Azeroth, a planet whose latent power was unmatched, a beacon that called to the Void Lords like a siren through the void. Here, on this world, they would lay the groundwork for their dark designs, embedding seeds of corruption and chaos that would one day sprout into a force capable of destabilizing the very order of the cosmos. To achieve this, the Void Lords would need instruments capable of enduring the harsh realities of the physical universe, and so they turned their focus to crafting beings of shadow and terror. These dark creations, the old gods, were infused with the essence of the void itself, each one a monstrous harbinger of the darkness from which they were born. Their purpose was singular and clear: to infest the chosen worlds, to burrow into the hearts of burgeoning civilizations and celestial bodies alike, spreading the tendrils of the void's malevolent influence. And thus, with their presence established, the Void Lords began to orchestrate a symphony of chaos, a dark melody that reverberated across the cosmos, setting the stage for an era of strife and conflict that would echo through the eons. In the boundless expanse, where stars once danced in harmonious order, the tendrils of the Void Lords crept with insidious intent. For within this cosmic tapestry, their plots and schemes took form. They sought not merely to extinguish light, but to reshape reality itself into a reflection of their own chaotic will. The celestial bodies, vibrant and full of potential, became their playground. Here, among the nascent worlds, the Void Lords cast their shadows long and deep. They whispered to the hearts of stars, tempting them with promises of power and eternal dominion, sowing seeds of doubt and discord. These whispers carried through the fabric of existence, reaching even the most distant of realms, a silent call to those susceptible to the void's allure. Yet the Void Lords understood that their influence alone was not enough. They required agents, conduits through which their will could manifest more directly. To this end, they conjured forth beings of unfathomable might and malevolence, creatures that would act as their hands and eyes. These dark heralds, both corporeal and ethereal, were tasked with the dread mission of finding worlds ripe for corruption. Among these creations were the infamous old gods, vast and ancient entities born from the void's darkest depths. These leviathans were sent forth as the harbingers of the Void Lord's will, tasked with the monumental endeavor of bringing nascent worlds to their knees. With their tentacles of madness, they would ensnare the hearts of planets, embedding themselves within their very cores to ensure the Void's influence could never be easily purged. Thus began a dreadful epoch as the old gods descended upon unsuspecting worlds. Each planet they touched became a canvas for their corruption, a new theater in the Void's unending play. Civilization after civilization fell, twisted by the malign whispers of these dark deities. Empires crumbled, and the light of hope dimmed beneath the relentless march of chaos. But the Void Lord's reach extended beyond simple planetary conquest. They sought to alter the very nature of existence, to weave their dark magic into the fundamental laws that governed reality. This ambition drove them to experiment with the essence of life itself, twisting it into forms unrecognizable from their original design. Through their machinations, they created horrors that defied comprehension, abominations that would serve as the vanguard of their crusade. Yet, even as their power grew, so too did the resistance against them. Forces of light and order rose to challenge the encroaching darkness, igniting battles that would shake the cosmos to its core. The Void Lords, relentless in their pursuit, would not be easily deterred. Their ambition knew no bounds, and their hunger for dominion was insatiable. In this grand cosmic theater, the stage was set for a war unlike any the universe had ever seen. A war that would pit the primordial forces of creation against the insidious designs of the Void Lords. And as their dark influence spread, the very fabric of reality trembled, heralding an age of unprecedented conflict and transformation. In the vast expanse known as the Great Dark Beyond, the whispers of the void carried on ethereal winds, an unsettling chorus that reverberated through the cosmos. It is here, in this endless sea of stars and shadows, that the true scope of the Void Lord's insidious reach begins to unfold. The Great Dark Beyond, a realm of boundless potential and mystery, serves as both a battleground and a canvas, where forces of creation and destruction vie for dominion over the fabric of reality itself. Among the celestial bodies drifting through this uncharted ocean are worlds teeming with nascent life, each a potential prize for the Void Lord's dark ambitions. These worlds are cradles of potential, where the seeds of order and chaos are sown in equal measure. To the Void Lords, they represent opportunities to twist and mold reality according to their malevolent designs. Yet these worlds are not left unguarded. Across the cosmos, vigilant beings, cosmic sentinels of order, stand watch over these burgeoning realms, ever wary of the creeping shadow that seeks to unmake them. Azeroth, a world of particular interest and intrigue, is a focal point of the Void Lord's ambitions. It is here that their spectral whispers have been known to pierce the veil of sanity, reaching the minds of those susceptible to their dark allure. The inhabitants of this world, both mortal and immortal, are drawn into the eternal struggle between light and shadow, often unaware of the greater battle waged around them. The Void Lord's influence is subtle, insidious. It manifests not merely in overt acts of violence or chaos, but in the quiet corruption of thought, the erosion of will, and the seduction of power. It is in this space, the Great Dark Beyond, that the Void Lord's tendrils of influence spread, seeking to ensnare the minds of the unwary. Their whispers echo across the void, offering promises of power and knowledge, yet concealing the ruinous price that such gifts demand. The Great Dark Beyond is not merely a backdrop for cosmic conflict, it is a living entity, a tapestry woven from the dreams and nightmares of countless worlds. Here, the Void Lord's machinations take on a myriad of forms, from the subtle manipulation of individuals to the grand orchestration of events that might tip the balance of entire civilizations. Those who listen to the whispers of the Void, knowingly or unknowingly, become pawns in a game of incomprehensible scale. Yet even as the shadows stretch and the whispers grow louder, there are those who stand resolute against the encroaching darkness, drawing on ancient wisdom and untapped potential to resist the Void Lord's seductive call. In this domain of infinite possibilities, the conflict between order and chaos intensifies, each side striving to assert its vision upon reality. The great dark beyond, with its unending expanse, becomes a crucible where the fate of worlds is forged. As the whispers of the Void continue to weave their dark song through the cosmos, the true depth of the Void Lord's influence extends far beyond mere corruption and chaos. For within the great dark beyond, the Void Lords found fertile ground for their insidious whispers. It is here, amidst the swirling cosmic tapestry, that the seeds of doubt and despair are sown. Worlds, teeming with life and potential, lie vulnerable to the machinations of these shadowy entities. It is not simply the raw power of the Void Lords that threatens the delicate balance of the cosmos, but their mastery of manipulation. Their whispers, subtle and pervasive, seek to unravel the very fabric of hope and unity. In the minds of mortals and immortals alike, they plant the seeds of fear, distrust, and ambition, turning allies into enemies and sowing discord where once there was harmony. The Void Lords understand that the most potent weapon in their arsenal is not brute force, but the ability to twist the thoughts and desires of those they seek to dominate. This psychological warfare is as relentless as it is insidious. It pervades the dreams of the unwary, transforming them into nightmares that echo with promises of power and ruin. It seeps into the hearts of the proud and the noble, exploiting their weaknesses and turning their virtues into vices. The Void whispers, and those who hear its call find their resolve weakened, their convictions questioned. Yet, amid this cosmic symphony of despair, there are beacons of resistance. Heroes and champions arise, their spirits burning brightly against the encroaching shadow. These individuals, scattered across the stars, find strength in unity and purpose. They are the guardians of hope, wielding the light of truth and the strength of unity to stand against the encroaching night. Their resolve is unyielding, their courage a bulwark against the tide of darkness. From the great dark beyond, the conflict between shadow and light reaches a fevered pitch. Each whisper, each moment of doubt is met with a counterpoint of determination and defiance. The Void Lords, for all their power and cunning, find themselves facing adversaries who refuse to yield, who cling to the light even in the depths of despair. This eternal struggle, fought across the vastness of the cosmos, shapes the very destiny of existence. As the echoes of the Void's whispers fade into the backdrop of the universe, a new chapter begins. The great dark beyond remains a battleground, a place where the fate of countless worlds hangs in the balance. The struggle continues as both sides marshal their forces for the battles yet to come, each determined to impose their vision upon the tapestry of reality. Thus, the saga of shadow and light continues to unfold, its outcome still unwritten, its impact destined to echo through the ages. The cosmos trembled under the vast, intangible weight of an insidious threat, as the Void Lords, though unable to physically manifest, extended their vile tendrils through the universe. Their sinister ambitions now focused with relentless intensity upon the Titans, the colossal beings of order and creation. These Titans, towering entities of immense power and wisdom, roam the universe, seeking to understand and shape it with their benevolent purpose. Yet amidst their noble pursuits, they remained ever watchful for the creeping shadows cast by their adversaries. The Titans, born from the very worlds they nurtured, were not mere architects of structure and life. They were the embodiments of cosmic order, tasked with weaving the fabric of reality into a harmonious tapestry. However, the Void Lords, lurking in the shadowed recesses of the universe, perceived these beings as both a threat and a prize. Should the Titans fall under their malevolent sway, the balance of existence itself would tilt perilously toward chaos. In this grim contest of cosmic proportions, the Void Lords unleashed their most devious stratagems. They scattered their dark seeds, the old gods, across the universe, seeking to sow corruption and despair. These malignant entities, with their tendrils burrowing into the very crust of worlds, whispered insidious promises and twisted truths into the hearts of mortals and immortals alike. Their goal was clear: to weaken the resolve of the Titans and beckon them toward a ruinous path. The Titans, though mighty, were not unchallenged by these machinations. Each incursion by the old gods tested their resolve and threatened the very worlds they sought to protect. Yet the Titans endured, for they were not alone in this cosmic struggle. Among them stood the great Pantheon, a council of the most powerful Titans, led by the wise and steadfast Amanthal. Together, they marshaled their forces, striving to cleanse the universe of the void's taint and safeguard the sanctity of creation. As the Titans waged their battles against the encroaching darkness, they began to realize the extent of the Void Lord's cunning. It was not through sheer power that these entities sought victory, but through subversion, manipulation, and the sowing of discord. The Titans understood that their greatest challenge lay not just in physical confrontation, but in resisting the seduction of despair and maintaining their unity against an enemy that thrived on division. As they confronted the encroaching shadows, the Titans found themselves grappling with an insidious enemy that could not be fought with mere might. The Void Lords, shrouded in their eternal realm, whispered temptations into the fabric of existence, seeking to unravel the very bonds that held the universe together. It became clear to the Titans that the Void Lord's ultimate weapon was not a tangible force, but the subtle erosion of hope and the instigation of doubt within the hearts of creation. In their quest to safeguard the burgeoning cosmos, the Titans turned to their primal instincts, drawing upon the core of their being, the essence of order and creation. They convened in the celestial halls of their dominion, casting their collective light across the stars. It was here that they forged a plan, a beacon of unity amidst the encroaching dark. They would not succumb to the despair that sought to consume them. Instead, they would become the bulwark against which the shadows would crash and falter. As the Titans solidified their resolve, they deployed their mightiest champions across the cosmos. These sentinels, embodiments of their creator's will, stood vigilant against the endless night, guardians of the light that flickered in the void. They were tasked with fortifying the worlds teeming with potential, protecting them from the creeping tendrils of corruption that sought to take root. Yet, the Void Lords were not without their own machinations. Like spiders weaving intricate webs, they set their traps, enticing the unwary with promises of power and knowledge. Many worlds fell prey to their insidious allure, their inhabitants ensnared in the void's embrace. The Titans watched with hearts heavy as civilizations crumbled, consumed by the very chaos they had sought to prevent. In this cosmic struggle, the Titans faced the grim reality that not all could be saved. The Void Lords were relentless, their influence seeping into the very marrow of existence. But in the face of such overwhelming darkness, the Titans discovered an unexpected ally, the resilience of life itself. The indomitable spirit of beings across the cosmos sparked a flicker of hope, a defiance that refused to be extinguished. Realizing the strength found in unity, The Titans sought out those who resisted the Void's grasp, nurturing them and empowering their resolve. Across the universe, alliances were forged, bonds strengthened, and a tapestry of defiance woven. This alliance, though fragile, became a testament to the enduring power of hope and the unwavering resolve to preserve the light amidst the encroaching dark. As the Titans braced for the next phase of this cosmic war, they knew the stakes had never been higher. The Void Lord's reach was vast, their ambitions boundless. Yet, within the heart of creation, a flicker of resistance remained, a beacon that defied the engulfing night. The Titans stood resolute, guardians of a universe that teetered on the brink, determined to hold back the Void's eternal grasp, if only for a moment longer. And so, the saga of shadow and light continued to unfold, a testament to the enduring struggle that shaped the very fabric of existence. In the swirling maelstrom of cosmic conflict, the stage was set for a new chapter of chaos. The old gods, colossal aberrations spawned by the Void Lords, descended upon the nascent world of Azeroth. These behemoth entities, monstrous beyond mortal comprehension, were heralds of entropy, avatars of the Void's insidious will. Their arrival marked a cataclysmic upheaval as they plunged into the earth like seeds of corruption. Each old god bore its own sinister name, whispered among the shadows: Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, Yshaj, and N'Zoth. Their tendrils spread like a cancer, burrowing deep into Azeroth's crust, warping the very land beneath them. From their festering domains, they unleashed waves of madness and despair, sowing discord and fear across the young world. The old gods were not mere mindless brutes. They were cunning and manipulative, capable of turning the hearts of mortals and immortals alike. They whispered insidiously into the minds of Azeroth's denizens, sowing seeds of doubt, paranoia, and ambition. Mortal civilizations, once thriving and full of promise, began to fracture and crumble under the weight of their dark influence. Where there was unity, they fostered division. Where there was hope, they planted despair. Yet, the old gods were not content with merely corrupting the living. Their true aim was far more insidious: to undermine the very fabric of reality, to bend the laws of creation to the whims of the Void. As they delved deeper into Azeroth's core, their malignant essence seeped into the world's lifeblood, threatening to unravel the cosmic order the Titans so desperately sought to protect. Azeroth itself, a world of untapped potential and mystery, was caught in this tumultuous struggle. The planet's slumbering soul, a nascent titan of immense significance, was at risk of falling into the shadowy embrace of the Void. The old gods, with their malicious grip tightening, sought to corrupt and claim this prize for their masters, hoping to transform Azeroth into a bastion of darkness. However, the old gods soon discovered they were not unopposed. The elemental spirits of Azeroth, primordial beings of immense power, rallied against the invaders. The elemental lords, embodiments of fire, water, earth, and air, recognized the threat posed by these dark entities. Though often at odds with one another, the elemental forces united in a desperate bid to repel the old gods' encroachment. Their battles raged across the land, titanic clashes of elemental fury against the relentless tide of corruption. Yet, as the struggle intensified, a deeper danger loomed, one that would challenge the very essence of all things. As the old gods unleashed their insidious influence upon the world, their presence began to seep into the very fabric of the planet, corrupting the land and its inhabitants with whispers of madness and power. The elemental forces, though mighty, found themselves ensnared in a web of deceit woven by these ancient horrors. The old gods' tendrils crept into the minds of the elemental lords, sowing discord and mistrust among their ranks, turning allies into adversaries and allies into puppets of a much darker purpose. The most sinister of these entities, Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, N'Zoth, and Yshaj, each carved their dominion into the world, establishing vast, nightmarish empires that thrummed with dark energy. These eldritch lords, embodiments of chaos and entropy, sought not only to unmake the order that the Titans had strived to instill, but to remake the world in their own twisted image. Their influence spread like a cancer, warping the creatures of the land into grotesque reflections of their master's malign will. The once verdant fields became desolate wastelands. The skies darkened with clouds of shadow, and the very earth seemed to groan beneath the weight of their corruption. In the shadows of this new world order, the old gods created servitors and lieutenants, beings of immense power tasked with enforcing their will. These eldritch servants, known as the Faceless Ones, moved silently through the darkness, executing the malign designs of their masters with ruthless precision. Where they walked, the land itself seemed to wither, and the strength of the elemental forces faltered beneath their relentless assault. Yet amidst the despair, a glimmer of defiance flickered. The ancient races of the world, born from the very elements themselves, resisted the pervasive corruption. Though many fell under the thrall of the old gods, others rose as champions of the world's innate resilience. These stalwart defenders, drawing upon the embers of hope and fury, mounted a last stand against the encroaching darkness, seeking to reclaim their world from the abyss. As the conflict reached its zenith, the earth trembled with the fury of the elements, and the heavens seemed to weep with the realization of what was at stake. In the crucible of battle, the seeds of resistance were sown, and the stage was set for a cataclysmic struggle that would determine the fate of the world. The old gods, with their insidious grip tightening around the heart of the planet, faced opposition that, though seemingly insurmountable, refused to yield. The whispers of the void echoed, yet the cries of defiance resounded louder, heralding the dawn of a new era in the eternal conflict between light and shadow. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, woven with threads of light and shadow, the eternal conflict between the powers of creation and the consuming darkness rages on. The Void Lords, ever ambitious in their insidious designs, sought to unravel the very essence of existence. Yet standing resolute against their dark machinations were the forces of light, a radiant counterbalance to the encroaching shadow. The light, a pure and incandescent force, is the embodiment of hope and order, its influence reaching across the boundless expanse of the universe. It is said that the light gives birth to the Naru, beings of ethereal brilliance and wisdom, who serve as its heralds and champions in the cosmic struggle. These celestial beings, imbued with a divine purpose, take up the mantle of guardianship, shielding worlds from the insidious whispers of the void. The Naru, as emissaries of the light, venture forth into the great dark beyond, their presence a beacon of hope amidst the shadow's grasp. They are not mere observers in this cosmic war. Rather, they are active participants, wielding their radiant power to heal, protect, and when necessary, smite the darkness that seeks to consume all. Their unwavering resolve and compassion for the mortal races serve as a stark contrast to the cold malevolence of the Void Lords. As the war between light and darkness escalates, the Naru forge alliances with myriad races across the cosmos, rallying them to the cause of preserving existence from the Void's insidious influence. Among these allies are the Draenei, a noble and ancient race who, having witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by the Void, pledged their service to the Light's cause. Exiled from their homeworld of Argus, the Draenei become wandering warriors, carrying with them the wisdom and teachings of the Naru. The Draenei, under the guidance of the Naru, become luminaries of hope, their faith unyielding even in the face of despair. They stand as bastions of light, their resolve fortified by the knowledge that the fate of countless worlds rests upon their shoulders. In their hands, the power of the light becomes a sword and shield, a means to combat the shadows that threaten to engulf all. Yet, as the forces of light marshal their strength, the Void Lords do not remain idle. They adapt, their malevolence taking new forms, infiltrating the hearts and minds of those who dwell in the light. Whispers of doubt and despair seep into the hearts of mortals, sowing discord and mistrust. In this war of cosmic proportions, the battlefield is not confined to the physical realm alone. It extends into the hearts and minds of all beings. The struggle between light and darkness is not a mere dichotomy, but rather a complex interplay of forces, each seeking to assert its dominance over the other. The Void Lords, ever cunning, exploit the vulnerabilities of the mortal soul, turning hope into despair, faith into fanaticism. Yet amidst this turmoil, the light remains a steadfast beacon, guiding those who seek its warmth through the encroaching shadows. As the conflict unfolds, the stakes grow higher, and the very fabric of reality hangs in the balance. In this eternal war, the champions of the light arise, their souls tempered by hope and conviction. They stand as the vanguard against the encroaching darkness, wielding powers that draw from a source of unimaginable purity and strength. These brave souls, the paladins and priests, are not mere mortals, but vessels of an ancient force that predates even the gods of the cosmos. Their faith, unshaken and resolute, becomes a bastion against which the Void Lord's insidious whispers crash like waves against steadfast cliffs. Yet the Void, ever patient, seeks not to shatter, but to erode, believing that even the most resolute fortification can be worn down over time. As the Void Lords unleash their agents upon the world, the light responds with its own champions, and thus the celestial dance of shadow and illumination continues. On countless worlds, battles rage unseen, fought in the hearts and minds of those who dwell there. It is a conflict not just of arms and magic, but of beliefs and ideals, each side striving to imprint its vision upon the tapestry of existence. The light, with its promise of harmony and peace, contrasts the Void's dark allure of chaos and freedom from the shackles of order. Among the mortals, stories spread of miraculous interventions, where figures clad in radiant armor descend from the heavens to turn the tide of despair back into hope. These tales inspire others to take up the cause, to defy the darkness that seeks to unmake them. Yet, even in the midst of such heroism, the Void's influence is never truly absent. It lurks in the shadows, waiting for a moment of weakness, ready to exploit the smallest doubt or fear. The struggle is not without its casualties. Many succumb to the seductive promises of power whispered by the shadows, their souls forever lost to the Void. But for every soul claimed, another rises, driven by the indomitable will to resist. The Void may claim victories, but the light nurtures resilience, planting seeds of defiance that blossom even in the most barren of hearts. As this cosmic struggle unfolds, it becomes evident that the war between light and darkness is not one that can be won by force alone. It is a war of ideals, of visions for what the universe should be. In this grand conflict, every choice matters, every act of courage or surrender echoes across the ages, shaping the destiny of worlds yet unborn. The light and the Void are bound in an endless dance, each unable to exist without the other, and yet forever striving for dominance. Thus, the struggle persists, a titanic clash that shapes the fate of all existence. As this section of our tale draws to a close, the stage is set for new heroes to rise, for new battles to be fought, and for the eternal war to continue its inexorable march through time. And so, the saga of light against darkness endures, a testament to the unyielding spirit of those who dare to dream of a brighter dawn amidst the encroaching night. From the moment the old gods descended upon Azeroth, their malignant tendrils began to weave insidious patterns across the land, infecting the very essence of the earth. These ancient deities, born of the Void Lord's malevolent will, did more than merely sow discord. They aimed to remake the world in their dark image. Yet their influence extended beyond physical corruption. They whispered into the dreams of mortals, planting seeds of madness and despair that grew into forests of chaos. The world of Azeroth, a nascent titan in its own right, became a canvas upon which the Void Lords sought to paint their masterpiece of entropy. The old gods, with their myriad eyes and countless limbs, became the harbingers of this dark destiny. They ensnared the minds of the weak and the strong alike, twisting ambitions and fears into grotesque parodies of their former selves. Empires rose and crumbled under their shadow, each collapse feeding the insatiable hunger of the void. Beneath the surface of the world, the tendrils of the old gods spread like a cancer, warping the elements themselves. The once harmonious balance between earth, fire, water, and air was shattered. Elemental spirits became embroiled in endless conflict, torn between their primal natures and the dark whispers that sought to enslave them. The land itself buckled and screamed under the strain of this corruption as mountains crumbled and seas boiled. But the machinations of the Void Lords were not confined to mere elemental manipulation. Far more sinister was their ability to reach into the hearts and minds of Azeroth's denizens. The old gods crafted horrific minions, the Faceless Ones, to enforce their will. Creatures born from the darkest nightmares, whose very presence could drive the sanest minds to madness. These abominations roamed the land, subjugating all who dared oppose their masters. As the darkness spread, it became clear that the true battle was not one of mere survival, but of the soul. Corruption seeped into the hearts of mortals, turning brother against brother, friend against friend. Kingdoms fell into ruin, their rulers driven to insanity by the ceaseless whispering that promised power and glory at the cost of their very humanity. The Void Lord's influence threatened to extinguish the light of hope, casting Azeroth into an age of despair. Yet, within this encroaching darkness, flickers of resistance began to emerge. The champions of Azeroth, though beset on all sides, refused to succumb entirely. They sought to understand the nature of their enemy, to uncover the forgotten truths that might arm them in this cosmic struggle. Ancient tomes were unearthed, revealing lost knowledge and forgotten magics that could stem the tide of corruption. The struggle against the Void Lords was not merely a battle of arms, but a war of knowledge, of understanding the true nature of the universe and the roles they played within it. The path forward was fraught with peril, as the lines between ally and enemy blurred in the shadows cast by the old gods. The defenders of Azeroth faced choices that would define their legacies, choices that would determine whether they would rise as saviors or fall as pawns in the Void Lord's grand design. As the world teetered on the precipice of annihilation, the champions of Azeroth found themselves standing at the crossroads of fate, their next steps pivotal in the battle for the soul of their world. In the heart of Azeroth, the old god's insidious influence spread like a dark contagion, seeping into the very fabric of the world. The once vibrant lands began to wither under their malignant touch, as creeping tendrils of corruption twisted the natural order into grotesque parodies of life. It was here that the true nature of the old gods' sinister machinations became evident. They wove a tapestry of deceit and despair, each thread meticulously crafted to ensnare the unwary. The champions of Azeroth, diverse in their origins and beliefs, found themselves drawn together by the weight of a common purpose. They gathered in secret councils, their whispered debates echoing the uncertainty of their times. The Void's whispers were ever present, sowing seeds of doubt and discord. Yet within these gatherings, a fragile unity began to form. It was a unity forged in the fires of necessity, tempered by the shared vision of a world free from the shadows that threatened to consume it. These champions, both mortal and immortal, possessed a resilience that defied the dark allure of the void. Among them, leaders emerged, individuals who rose to the challenge, their hearts and minds fortified by the resolve to protect their world. They were warriors, scholars, and mystics, each bringing their unique strengths to the fore in a desperate bid to counter the old god's schemes. Their journey was fraught with peril, yet it was their unwavering determination that kindled a spark of hope in the hearts of the beleaguered. In the midst of this turmoil, a revelation unfolded, one that would alter the course of their struggle. Among the old god's creations, a faint glimmer of rebellion stirred. Some of the lesser creatures born of the void's corruption began to question their purpose, their minds opened by the lingering remnants of the world's primal spirit. This flicker of defiance, though small, hinted at the possibility of redemption, a chance that not all who served darkness were beyond salvation. As the champions of Azeroth pressed forward, they encountered unexpected allies within the ranks of their enemies, beings who yearned for liberation from their own cursed existence. These defectors, driven by a desire to see their world restored, offered invaluable insight into the minds of the old gods and the machinations of the Void Lords. With each revelation, the champions' understanding of the enemy deepened, and their strategies evolved to meet the ever-shifting threat. The battle for Azeroth's soul raged on, a relentless tide of shadow and light. Yet amid the chaos, a new hope was born. The seeds of chaos sown by the Void Lords had, paradoxically, given rise to resistance, a burgeoning movement that promised to turn the tide of war. As the champions prepared for the trials that lay ahead, they did so with a renewed sense of purpose, their hearts steadfast in the face of impending darkness. Thus, the stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not only the fate of Azeroth, but also the destiny of the cosmos. The choices made, the alliances forged, and the sacrifices endured would echo through the ages, shaping the very essence of existence in a universe caught between the light of creation and the shadow of the void. In the vast tapestry of cosmic conflict, where the shadow of the void sought to unravel the very fabric of existence, the champions of the light emerged as beacons of hope, resolute in their stand against the encroaching darkness. These noble defenders, drawn from the myriad races and cultures across the universe, were bound by a singular purpose: to preserve the sanctity of creation and to shield their worlds from the insidious whispers of the Void Lords. Foremost among these champions were the paladins and priests, whose faith in the light endowed them with powers both miraculous and formidable. These warriors and healers, wielding the holy energies of the light, became the vanguard in the battle against the void's malevolent influence. Their convictions were not merely weapons, but shields as well, fortifying their spirits against the ceaseless temptations and deceptions woven by the Void Lords. Yet the struggle was not confined to the corporeal realm. It was a war of spirit and will, a clash of ideals that transcended mortal comprehension. The champions of the light faced not only the physical manifestations of the void's corruption, but also the existential threats that sought to erode their very beliefs. They stood firm against the shadowy tendrils that sought to sow doubt and despair within their hearts, each victory hard won and paid for in sacrifice and resolve. Among these stalwart defenders, new alliances were forged, bridging divides between races and cultures that had once stood apart. The Draenei, exiles from a doomed world, offered their wisdom and zeal, standing shoulder to shoulder with the races of Azeroth. Together, they wove a tapestry of unity and resistance, a living testament to the enduring power of hope against the darkness. The Naru, luminous beings of pure light, served as both mentors and bastions of wisdom. Their guidance was a clarion call to all who would heed it, a reminder of the eternal struggle between order and chaos, and the pivotal role that each champion played within it. These celestial entities, though unable to directly combat the Void Lords within their own realm, provided insights and strength to those who dared to stand against the encroaching shadow. But the void was relentless, its tendrils reaching ever further, seeking to corrupt not just individuals but entire civilizations. The champions of the light found themselves not only defending their lands from the physical incursion of voidwalkers and other twisted abominations, but also engaging in battles of the mind and soul. These internal conflicts were perhaps the most insidious of all, for they tested the very essence of what it meant to be a champion of the light. Amidst this cosmic tumult, the mortal struggle unfolded, a saga of light and shadow writ large across the cosmos. Each champion, whether wielding a sword, casting a spell, or chanting a prayer, became a crucial part of the grand narrative. Their victories and defeats were woven into the larger tale of existence itself, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who refused to yield to the darkness. As the conflict escalated, the champions of the light were forced to confront truths that shook the foundations of their beliefs, revelations that expanded their understanding of the battle they fought and the forces they faced. Yet even as the shadow loomed ever larger, their resolve did not waver. They continued their fight, not only for themselves, but for the very future of Azeroth and the cosmos beyond, knowing that their struggle was both a culmination of ancient destinies and a harbinger of the battles yet to come. As the champions of the light grappled with the enormity of their revelations, they faced trials that tested not only their strength, but the very core of their convictions. These stalwart defenders, ranging from the devout paladins to the wise priests, each bore a piece of the light within them, a beacon against the encroaching shadow. They knew that their faith was not a simple shield, but a blazing torch against the encroaching void. It was their courage, their indomitable will, that kept despair at bay. Amidst these trials, as battles raged across the scarred lands of Azeroth, the champions found themselves not just fighting for survival, but for the ideals that defined their very existence. They were guided by the whispers of the Naru, the celestial beings that embodied the light's essence, who offered wisdom and strength in their direst moments. These luminous guides reminded the champions that their struggle was not in vain, that hope endured even in the deepest darkness. The champions understood that to truly defeat the shadow, they must do more than wield the light as a weapon. They must embody its principles. This revelation led them to forge unexpected alliances with those who once stood divided by creed or history. From the noble Draenei to the courageous Night Elves, disparate races and factions came together, united by the shared goal of preserving their world from annihilation. Their union, though fraught with past grievances and mistrust, kindled a new flame of hope and defiance. The Light's champions were also acutely aware that the Void's influence was insidious, capable of turning allies into enemies, sowing discord where harmony once thrived. It was a battle not only of arms, but of hearts and minds. Thus, the champions became not just warriors, but heralds of unity, their words as powerful as their blades. They preached resilience, teaching others to resist the seductive whispers of the void, to stand firm against the temptations of despair and corruption. As the forces of shadow and light clashed, the champions of the light became symbols of resistance and perseverance. Their deeds inspired stories of valor that echoed across time, tales of sacrifice and redemption that would be told for generations. They knew that their time was but a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of existence, yet they fought with the knowledge that every choice, every victory, shaped the destiny of Azeroth and the cosmos beyond. And so, as this chapter of their struggle drew to a close, the champions stood ready for what lay ahead. They understood the path was fraught with peril, but they also recognized that the light within them was a guiding star, unwavering and eternal. United in purpose and strengthened by their shared resolve, they prepared to face the coming storm, knowing that the battle for existence was far from over. The champions of the light, with hearts steeled by faith and hope, stood as the vanguard against the void, ready to illuminate the darkness that threatened to consume all. In the uncharted reaches of the cosmos, where light dares not tread and the very fabric of reality is thin, exists a nexus of unimaginable power, an enigmatic heart of the void. This is where the true extent of the Void Lord's dominion is whispered into being, a place where the shadows themselves pulse with the malevolent energy of these ancient entities. Here, the boundaries between space and time blur, and the truths of existence are twisted into incomprehensible forms. Within this shadowy crucible, the Void Lords weave their dark symphony, their intentions obscured by layers of cosmic deception. They seek to unravel the mysteries of creation itself, delving into the arcane currents that flow through the void and beyond. For it is within this nexus that the Void Lords have hidden the secrets to their ultimate ambition, the corruption of the universe's very essence. The nexus acts as a focal point, a place where the power of the void is concentrated and magnified. It is here that the Void Lord's most potent weapons are forged, their influence extending like tendrils into the great dark beyond. This hidden sanctuary is a realm of endless possibilities, where the Void Lord's cunning schemes are conceived and nurtured. The Void Lords, unable to manifest fully within the tangible realms, channel their power through this nexus, manipulating the fabric of reality to suit their dark desires. Here, they craft new agents of chaos, beings imbued with the very essence of the void, destined to sow discord and despair across the stars. Their presence is felt as a subtle whisper, a creeping shadow that seeps into the hearts and minds of those who dare to venture too close. But this nexus is not a place of unchecked malevolence alone. It is also the stage upon which the most enduring mysteries of the cosmos are played out. Within its depths lie the answers to questions that have haunted scholars and mages for millennia. How did the void come into being? What are the true intentions of the Void Lords? And perhaps, most tantalizingly, can the darkness they wield be turned against them? As the Void Lord's influence emanates from this nexus, it calls to those who seek power, ensnaring them with promises of knowledge and supremacy. Yet these promises are but illusions, for the price of such knowledge is a descent into madness, an eternal servitude to the Void Lord's inscrutable will. Those who succumb find themselves transformed into instruments of the void, their identities erased, replaced by a singular purpose to further the Void Lord's shadowy agenda. Even as the nexus of power stands as a testament to the Void Lord's might, it is also a beacon of hope for those who dare to oppose them. For within this crucible of darkness lies the potential for understanding, and with understanding, the possibility of resistance. As the nexus pulses with the energy of the void, so too does it pulse with the potential for change. Here, in the heart of the void, the stage is set for a confrontation that promises to reshape the very nature of existence itself. In the shadowed corridors of the nexus, echoes of ancient whispers reverberate through the emptiness, each carrying tidings of both dread and revelation. Here, the secrets of the cosmos are interwoven with the very fabric of the void, a tapestry of enigma and peril. Those who dare to delve into its depths seek not only knowledge, but also the strength to withstand the relentless tide of corruption that the Void Lords unleash upon the universe. Amidst this landscape of foreboding darkness, the void's agents move unseen, their tendrils reaching into the hearts of those who linger too close to the edge. Yet it is within this very abyss that the seeds of rebellion take root. For every shadow that seeks to consume, there emerges a flicker of light, unwavering souls who stand against the encroaching darkness, determined to reclaim their destinies from the grasp of the void. These brave souls, drawn to the nexus by fate or folly, find themselves at a crossroads of unimaginable consequence. They confront the terrible majesty of the Void Lords, beings of unfathomable power who desire nothing less than the unraveling of reality itself. Yet it is within this confrontation that the possibility for redemption glimmers. For while the void seeks to engulf all, it inadvertently bestows upon its challengers the very tools needed to defy it. In the heart of the Nexus, a revelation unfolds, a profound understanding of the Void's nature, a comprehension that transcends mere survival. Those who have glimpsed into its depths emerge forever changed, armed with knowledge that could tip the scales in the eternal struggle between light and shadow. It is here that heroes are forged, tempered by the fires of adversity, and imbued with the resolve to carry their newfound wisdom back into the world. The Nexus, in its paradoxical existence, stands as both a fortress of despair and a crucible of hope. It is the place where destiny is rewritten, where champions of the light emerge from the clutches of darkness, wielding their newfound strength as a beacon for others to follow. As the final act of this cosmic saga approaches, the Nexus holds its breath, poised on the brink of revelation. The stage is set for a confrontation that will not only challenge the might of the Void Lords, but also redefine the very essence of existence. In this pivotal moment, the greatest mysteries of the universe await their unveiling, and with them, the promise of a new dawn on the horizon of eternity. In the boundless tapestry of existence, where the fabric of reality is continually tugged between the churning forces of creation and annihilation, there stands an eternal bastion, the guardians of reality. These entities, forged in the crucible of cosmic purpose, are the stalwart defenders against the encroaching tendrils of the Void Lords. Clad in the armor of determination and wielding the weapons of unwavering resolve, the Guardians are the bulwark against which the waves of darkness crash relentlessly. Their vigilance spans across the vast reaches of the cosmos, where stars are born and extinguished in the blink of an eye. Among these sentinels are the Titans, celestial architects whose hands shaped the very worlds that the Void seeks to corrupt. Yet they are not alone in this ceaseless watch. The Naru, beings of pure light, lend their strength to the cause, their luminescence a beacon of hope in the shadowed expanse. Together, these guardians form an alliance of unparalleled might, their combined will a fortress against the Void's insidious whispers. But the struggle is not theirs alone. Throughout the ages, mortals have risen to the call, their destinies entwined with the fate of the universe. Heroes from myriad races stand as paragons of courage and defiance, their hearts and minds fortified by the teachings of the light. These champions, drawn from every corner of Azeroth and beyond, form the living shield that protects the cosmos from the Void's relentless ambitions. In the heart of this eternal conflict, the threads of destiny weave a complex tapestry. The Guardians, while mighty, face the ceaseless challenge of the Void Lord's cunning. These malevolent entities, though unable to manifest directly, exert their influence through manipulation and deceit, seeking to unravel the very essence of reality. It is a battle not merely of strength, but of will and resolve, where the unseen war is fought on the battlegrounds of the mind and soul. The Guardians' vigilance demands not only strength, but also wisdom and foresight. They must anticipate the machinations of the Void, ever watchful for signs of corruption and unrest. The cosmic balance hangs by a thread, and the Guardians must stand resolute, for even the slightest falter could tip the scales towards chaos and despair. Thus they remain ever watchful, their eyes scanning the infinite horizon, ready to confront the darkness that lurks beyond the veil of stars, an endless vigil in the eternal dance of creation and destruction. In this timeless struggle against the Void, the Guardians of reality are not alone. Across the vast tapestry of existence, countless beings have arisen, each uniquely equipped to face the encroaching darkness. These individuals, whether born of flesh or energy, have chosen the path of resistance. They are the unsung heroes, whose deeds echo silently through the annals of history. Their strength lies not in overwhelming force, but in unity and perseverance, in the unyielding belief that the light of hope can pierce even the deepest shadows. On distant worlds, civilizations have thrived and faltered, each playing its part in this cosmic dance. Some races have embraced the teachings of the light, becoming bastions of order and protectors of balance. Others, drawn by the seductive whispers of the void, have fallen into despair and ruin, consumed by the very darkness they sought to wield. Yet, even in the depths of desolation, flickers of resistance persist as individuals rise against the darkness within, seeking redemption and purpose. The Guardians themselves are a testament to the enduring spirit of defiance. Their resolve is tempered through trials and sacrifices, honed by the wisdom of ages past. They have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth and death of stars, yet they remain steadfast, ever vigilant against threats both seen and unseen. Their knowledge of the cosmos is vast, yet they understand that the true battle lies within the hearts of sentient beings. It is a battle fought not with weapons, but with ideals and conviction. As the Void Lords continue their relentless assault, the Guardians draw strength from the bonds they forge with allies and kindred spirits. Together, they weave a tapestry of resistance, a network of hope that spans the cosmos. Their strategies are as diverse as the stars themselves, each tailored to the unique challenges they face. Some confront the darkness head-on, while others work in the shadows, sowing seeds of doubt and discord among the Void's minions. In this interconnected web of light and shadow, every action reverberates across the cosmos, shaping the destinies of countless worlds. The Guardians know that the future is unwritten, that the balance of power can shift with a single act of courage or betrayal. They stand as both shield and sword, defenders of the fragile equilibrium that sustains all life. And so, the endless vigil continues, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who refuse to surrender to the encroaching void. As long as there is breath in their bodies and fire in their souls, the Guardians will stand resolute, a beacon of hope against the encroaching tide of darkness. For in the end, it is not the power of the void that defines the universe, but the courage and resilience of those who stand against it. This is their legacy, an unyielding promise to protect the sanctity of creation now and forevermore.